Hey everyone, welcome to Reddit Readout. Today we are checking out AmItheA whole. Story 1. AITA for leaving my sick husband at home. Throwaway BC. My husband knows my ACC. My 25M husband Harry, 26M, has been in bed with the flu for about a week now. He's quite miserable, headache, nausea, fairly high fever, so I've been working from home to be able to keep an eye on his throughout the day. It was my younger siblings, twins, 9, birthday on Saturday, and my husband and I were invited over to my parents' house to celebrate. On Friday, Harry told me he wasn't feeling up to a children's birthday party, which is understandable. I wouldn't necessarily want to be around rowdy children if I was sick either. So I decided I'd go there on my own, bring over the presents, stay for an hour or two and be back home before dinner. To be honest, after spending days holed up in our flat taking care of my husband, I was quite grateful for the opportunity to get outside for a few hours. When I told Harry as much, he didn't comment on it, but he did seem a bit grumpy afterwards. Saturday came and I drove over to my parents' house in the afternoon. They live about 20 minutes away. I left Harry with some painkillers, tea, and tissues on the nightstand so he wouldn't need to get up while I was gone. I told him he could call me in case something happened, though. The party went great and I got back home after about 2 hours without any calls from Harry, so I assumed everything had gone well. However, he was frowning all evening, and when I asked whether he was all right, he called me selfish for leaving him alone and accused me of not caring about his well-being. He told me I should have stayed home with him instead of having fun on my own while he was miserable. He has since been giving me the silent treatment whenever I tried to talk to him about it. It's been a few days and I thought he'd have calmed down by now, but he's still sulking and I'm starting to wonder whether his reaction is reasonable and I'm the here. Story 2. AITA for cancelling my boyfriend's birthday party after he failed to show up on time. Sorry if there's any errors. It was my 26F boyfriend's 30M birthday last month. We didn't spend it together because he was away with family. So I'd decided to organize him a birthday party with a couple of his friends. Everything was settled, the place, the time, everything. Maybe 3 hours before we needed to leave for the party, he got a call from a colleague, asking if he could come help him with something at work, and my boyfriend accepted. He promised he'd be back at time for the party. We were supposed to leave at 7:30 p.m. but he wasn't there, so I tried calling, he didn't pick up. So I left a voicemail, saying I was leaving for the party and he needed to join me there. By 9 p.m., everybody was here but not my boyfriend. We all waited for him, but at 10, as he still didn't arrive or gave any news, his friends started leaving one by one and I decided to cancel the party altogether. I texted my boyfriend, "Party cancelled," everybody went home and so did I. When he came home an hour later, we had a fight and he left. I didn't know where, until his mom texted me, saying that I was horrible for what I did and that he was gonna stay at hers for a while. I do feel bad because I know he was really excited about the party. Story 3. AITA for throwing a stupid birthday gift onto the trash can. A month ago it was my birthday, so I invited some friends of mine to have a birthday party. Everything was cool till a friend bought me a gift and told me to open it when we are eating in front of everybody, which I did. I opened every gift I had except this one. I waited patiently for the dish to open the other gift. The time to open the gift comes, we are all at the table eating. I was exited to open and see what my gift is, so I opened it and it turns out he bought me a big black dildo. All of my friends bursted out laughing while I was feeling embarrassed and anticlimax, so I got angry and threw that stupid gift to the trash can. My friend who bought the gift got mad and told me that he bought this for 50 and it was a joke. I told him even if it was a joke I still felt embarrassed and wouldn't do anything with it anyways. He is still mad about this because of the $50 he lost, but I think it was expected for me to throw that away. AITA. Story 4. AITA for not listening to my boyfriend. Context: My boyfriend has difficulty sleeping when I am not with him or sleeping in general, and he says it's affecting his mood and overall work performance. I thought I understood and stopped playing video games on the TV or playing on one of our computers, and I made a compromise. When he goes to bed I would lay with him cuddling, staying still and watching YouTube on the TV instead, volume not a problem, or I put rain sounds on and go on my phone instead, still making no noise and not making any sudden movements. But now he's saying that even with my compromise he still can't sleep, and it's as if I'm being selfish and not taking him into consideration. That when he has to go to bed, I should lay down and close my eyes and sleep. But I physically cannot do that. I get too restless and I don't know how to stop it. I'd hate for this relationship of almost 6 years to go down the drain because of one reoccurring argument. But it feels that every time we have this argument I always feel leaving. I would like to know if I am actually the a-hole or not. And if I am just some advice for both of us on how to move past this trivial argument. Story 5. AITA for not using my husband's hilarious gift. H, 29M, and I, 26F, have been married for 4 years. I had a great job in sales before COVID, but we found during the pandemic that things just worked better with H at work and me at home. He earns enough to support us both. I never thought I'd end up being a traditional wife, but given that he's the breadwinner, I sometimes feel as though I should pick up a lot of the slack at home. I'm not a great cook, but I'm sociable and enjoy being the hostess. When H has friends over to watch soccer, I prep a huge tray of snacks, keep the beers on ice, and pop in with drink and food top-ups during the game. I don't stay to watch, but I do ask the guys how they're doing, etc., just polite chit-chat. They all seemed into it and often comment that H has done well to have such a great wife. It's a nice setup. Last week, H came home with a beautifully gift-wrapped box and said he'd got me a little something to wear when his friends are next over. I do my best to dress nicely when they're round, so I figured it would be a pretty dress or something. He had this huge grin on his face, so I was so excited. I opened the box to find a red latex mini dress and a ball gag. The gag was designed to look like a soccer ball and the dress is in his team's color. I didn't know what to say at first, I was so confused. He's never been into anything like that, he's very vanilla. I asked if it was a joke and at first he said no and told me his friends wouldn't believe how lucky he was if I walked in with the snacks like that. I can't remember what I said next, but then he told me it would be hilarious if I wore it and I should lighten up. I gave it a nervous laugh and told him I thought it was funny too. This morning, he'd put both items on my dresser and said he's looking forward to seeing me in them when the guys are round tomorrow. I reminded him that he said it was a joke. He got a bit sulky and said he can't believe I don't have a sense of humor. But from what he's saying, it sounds like he's expecting me to wear it. I'm so confused because 1, I don't know if he's done this as a joke because his friends think I talk too much, or 2, if he'd get off on me being humiliated. He says I'm being uptight and called me out for being in awe, but I honestly don't think I'm unreasonable. AITA? Story 6. AITA for taking my future wife's last name. My fiancée Nicole, 25F, and I, 24M, are engaged and are getting married this October. She has a very interesting Nordic last name, and she was clear from the get-go that she wants to keep her last name. She has a very close, special bond with her parents, and she is one of the last in her family to have her last name. There is only one man in her family with the last name and he is proudly child-free. I have a rocky relationship with my parents. I don't want to say anything bad about them because I love them to death, but things have not always been good. Since I started dating Nicole, I saw her relationship with her parents and she encouraged me to spend more time with mine. So, it has improved within the past few years because I see them frequently and keep them updated with my life. I am the last male with my last name. My fiancé is the last childbearing age person with her last name. We aren't planning on kids right now, but it's the fact that we are both the last to possibly pass the name along, I decided, because I felt it was important that we shared a last name, that I would take her last name. She and her family were surprised and honored and told me they would support my decisions no matter what. My parents found out that I was changing my last name in an inopportune way prior to me sitting them down to talk about it. It did not go over well and my dad refused to speak to me for a week. My mom would send incoherent texts begging and pleading me to not change my last name, saying things like in our culture, men keep their last names. You can't just change your last name and that it was disrespectful and I had forsaken my family, and that I was destroying the family by changing my last name. She also said that her future grandkids deserve the name. This is just so wrong. Please. Please. Please don't do it. There are many vitriolic, sexist, and unhinged texts, but those are just a few examples of things she said. My dad and her refuse to understand that I am a grown adult and they are now essentially disowning me and inviting me from any family events in the future, like my sister's graduation party or a family trip that is already planned and paid for. For context, I am a white American man, so the culture she is referring to is white American culture I think. So, am I the asshole for taking my fiancé's last name? Story 7. AITA for not helping my parents pay for my sister to go to rehab. My sister is addicted to opioids. She's been using for 12 years now. She began using during her first year of university. She was living away from home and had just turned 18 years old and she got into the party scene at her school and was regularly using both opiates and cocaine. It got so bad she was expelled after 1 year and she lost her scholarship. She stopped using cocaine but she continued using opioids. I will add that she's never had an injury or surgery that required taking opioids and she has never had a legal prescription for them. In the last 12 years she has been in prison more than once. She has been to rehab multiple times. When not in rehab or prison she alternates between being homeless or staying with one of our brothers. Now my parents are sending her to rehab again. They asked me to help pay for it. I have helped pay for her past trips to rehab. I've spent $20,000 on it in the past. This time I told my parents I'm done. Does that make me the asshole? I was devastated when my sister started using and I tried to help. But she repaid me by trying to steal my identity. She failed, thank God, and nothing happened, and has made the lives of everyone around her miserable including mine. I am done with her. She's dead to me and I want nothing to do with this. I'm the only one not contributing money this time. My parents, all of my brothers and both sets of my grandparents are all giving, again. I'm the only family member my sister has who isn't contributing. I'm getting pressure for this reason. My parents want $10,000 from me and they say that since I make more than that in a month it should be no problem. They are trying to guilt me with the She's family card and saying that because I'm the only one of them who went to university and the highest earner that I should be helping. I'm getting called a bad sister and daughter for not helping. I'm asking here because none of you know us or are emotionally invested or involved. I know she is family, so am I being too harsh here? Does saying no to helping make me the asshole like my family thinks? Am I wrong here? Thank you for reading my post. Please be honest with me. That's all for today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.